Welcome to Season 2 of Top Crop. I'm Russell Hedrick. We're here at a field that we've deemed the King Slayer. Got a friendly competition going on with Corey Atlee, and we're going to do some digging, see where the corn's coming up, where the beans are coming up, and try to go ahead and make our next pass.
Back in Jackson Center, Ohio, and we're at Man Farms again this year. Kind of waiting to plant here. It's April 8th, and Mother Nature has not cooperated. Lots of shop work and preparations underway.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Welcome in, friends. Welcome in. Welcome, everybody. We got Perry Galloway. We got Russell Hedrick. My name is Seth Wood. You're watching Top Crop TV. Welcome to another watch party. How's everybody doing?
Doing fine. Can y'all hear me?
Perry, we
got
got
you.
you loud and clear, but we can't see you, brother.
I know. Is that gonna be okay? I tell you why. I got 102 fever and I'm in bed, so I just thought I'd.
Oh, no. That's horrible.
If you want to see me laying in bed, you're more than welcome. I don't care, but
Oh, no. We don't want to invade your sick
just
space.
let me do this as long as I can, and then I'll apologize in advance if I have to get off.
Oh,
Hope
you're
you feel
good.
better, Perry.
Yeah,
Thank
feel
you,
better
thank
for sure. So sorry to hear that.
And I
Well,
never get sick, but unfortunately, it hit me.
yeah, it happens. So how are things down there in Arkansas? Are they looking pretty cold like the rest of the
Yeah. Well, I
country?
mean, it's cold to us. We got down to I don't know, at least 12 degrees, maybe 10 degrees for a few nights. I noticed we're in the mid 40s today, so all the snow and ice is pretty much melted. So we'll have some nice weather for the next several days. Then I think it gets cold again.
That's wild. Yeah, it's been
Duck
wild.
duck season's been a bust. It's been a terrible year. Started out pretty good, but it just has gone downhill. So that's one of my few hobbies. So it's been disappointing.
Yeah, I know y'all have a real good time out there with the duck hunting.
That's right. We try.
I'm sorry to hear that you're not able to do it.
Well, it's not that I'm not able. It's just not very fruitful.
Right. Too cold.
There's an uncommon risk of heart
Too
attack.
cold and probably no ducks, I'm guessing.
That's the problem. There's no ducks. I can stand the cold.
Right. And Russell, how's it going? You've been busy all day, brother. I'm so honored that you were able to join us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. How's dinner?
It's good, man. We just got done talking. We talked for 8.5 hours today at the conference and just wrapped up and just sat down here at the restaurant bar and having a little bite, ready to watch some Top Crop.
Let's go. I heard rave reviews over our first episode today that aired on RFD TV. Got all kinds of texts and emails about people excited to see the new season. So really happy about that. We've got it on our website too, as well as our mobile app, in case you haven't picked it up. Is King of Bourbon, is that your new official title, or is that where you're at tonight?
I was just coming up with a new nickname.
I love it.
Well,
That's
with the hurricane, we weren't the king of corn, so I might as well be the king of something.
King of Regen, I say, King of Regen. And then we got the King of Cotton down there in Arkansas, handling that serious cotton this year. That was wild, Perry.
Yeah, we had a good year. I've got to speak on that this weekend actually, so I better figure out why it was pretty good. Maybe it's just lucky. That's all it was.
Oh, I think you've been doing it long enough. You know what to look for. That skip row might have been a thing. Tell us a little bit more real quick about the skip row. I know we won't see it in episode 1 tonight, but
yeah, traditionally cotton's been on wide rows, meaning 36, 38, and 40-inch rows. And I got away from that probably 13 years ago, and went to 30-inch rows just because I'd gotten into all the corn production, I guess, mainly. And I wanted to get back in cotton, and I needed to figure out how to do it. So it's nothing I invented. I had seen it, so I was a little bit curious. It's called a hybrid skip, where on a 16-row toolbar, we plant row 1, skip row 2, plant rows 3, 4, 5, and 6, skip row 7, plant row 8, plant row 9, skip row 10, plant 11, 12, 13, 14, skip 15, plant 16. That gives us two 20-foot passes with a cotton picker. That's the main thing. The cotton picker toolbar will harvest 20 foot, so I had to I wanted to harvest 20 feet in the pass. Plus, cotton compensates so well for gaps and spaces. And skip row cotton used to be known as poor man's irrigation, so there were some benefits there.
Well, it looked like it did pretty
Yeah, I
well.
mean, it did its thing. I really, I was just using some. It was a lot of judgment calls
Yeah.
on how to maximize yields. I mean, planting population, that's big because cotton can't stand too many plants, but I had to have enough as well. So,
Well, and you've
but
been
we seem to get it right.
well, and you've been feeding your soil. You know what you're doing with your soil down there, feeding the
And
microbes, getting your
that
bacteria.
probably had a lot to do with it. When I quit raising cotton back in 2012, I think we didn't make any boron applications, and now I guess every trip I made across the cotton had boron in it. Just a little bit. What else did we do? Boron's the main thing. Made sure we had plenty of phosphorus, potash. We probably came up a little short on potash because we had a disease which was brought on by potash deficiencies. But I really attribute that to the high yields. The high yields just depleted our potash levels. So I'm looking at ways to compensate for that next year.
Perry,
Yeah.
y'all ever wide drop on cotton?
No, I don't. I've got all that stuff and I try to use it, but we have so many acres to get across on everything. We just have to go with speed and efficiency.
Well, let's
So,
listen. If you make sure the air conditioner works in that big old tractor, I might come down there for a
well,
couple of days and help you.
I appreciate it. We just, we got two sprayers. We got drones. This is our first year with drones. I think Seth, you were down. Should have some footage on one of the episodes with me and the drones.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely do. I think I was just working on episode 7 or
Actually,
episode 7.
that should have cotton and drones, doesn't it? Was that?
Oh, it does. Every time we're at your place, there's
Yeah,
cotton.
we had some drone footage and should have cotton, rice, and maybe soybeans. Some harvest aid on soybeans using drones, which worked quite well because, like a harvest aid, that's going to show you the skips and misses, whatever, where the problems are. So it's I use my drones this year as it's a learning curve. So
Yeah, the drones are fun. Russell is no stranger to the
I know
drones.
Russell's a pro at it.
He's been
And,
trying
it
all
is
the
fun,
different
but
drones.
when you got thousands of acres to go over, it does get kind of monotonous, and you're used to the speed of a plane. You're like, will we ever
Well,
get
and
it? But they definitely have their place.
you're going to need the swarming coming soon. The swarm
Yeah.
drones. That's
Well,
going to be
that's what I was getting ready to say. Is I might just come to Arkansas with 3 drones and see how Perry likes the swarm effect for 2025.
Yeah.
What's up, Shelby and Ethan?
Shelby
What's
and Ethan, welcome in, friends.
Greetings. So yeah, Russell, I've got to speak this early next week in Memphis at the Mid-South Cotton and Rice Conference, and I'm going to talk about an ag pilot's perspective of drones. I'm going to tell them, don't worry, they're not going to put you all out of business anytime soon, at least. And I'm going to give them something else to worry about, and that's these high-tech spreaders, whether it's a 3-point hitch version or a mounted version. Those things are so accurate. I got one this year, and it's amazing how accurate it is. So that's the short story.
No, we love it, and we can't wait to see the drones in action on your farm there. But back to
I hope you got some good footage. I may call you later because I need some for my presentation this weekend.
oh yeah, I got you. Just let me know. Absolutely.
I guess I was too busy flying drones. I didn't get many pictures.
Right.
But you should have plenty of the whole setup. Just some.
Oh, I do. I'll get you some for sure.
Okay.
So, but one of the reasons we use the drones is to increase the health of the soil, something Perry's no stranger to, and something that Russell's no stranger to. Russell, tell us a little about what your mindset is going into the spring here What are you doing on your soil to get ready for another season? Like soil testing, what kind of testing are you doing? Give us kind of a quick breakdown if you can.
So we're doing the TNDs, which is like our total nutrients, and then we're taking the Haney and we're using that essentially instead of base saturation. It gives us a more realistic read on what nutrients are available. And we've got I think this year we're probably going to be heavy in biological testing just because of the hurricane and the flooding. We're going to see where we're at and what we need to amend. And we've got we've got a new thing that we're trying to work on. And I don't know, I might call it like Top Crop TV's Pandora's Box or something. But essentially we're working with Yetter, and I think we're going to run the strip till. And in the strip till, we're going to run the vermicompost biologicals. We're going to run some humics and fulvics, which will go right below the seed. Then when we plant, we'll have the in furrow, and the 2x2 this year, we're going to go over the row, and then the deep injection. So essentially, we're going to build a box full of carbon and biology and a little bit of fertility. And unless it's like Mother Nature wanting to kill a crop again with a hurricane, we're going to see what we can do without water being a limiting factor again. So I think we found another irrigation setup pump for us to use since the other one got washed down the river, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll get that irrigation set up. And I don't know. I still got hope. Maybe we end up with some netafilm in the ground. It's not looking too promising, but it's still in the works.
Okay.
So
Any sort of drip with combined with any overhead would be next level.
yeah. So I mean, we're just trying to have fun. I mean, really looking at the looking at correlations between biology and nutrient. Like one of the big things we talked about today here at the conference is we've got multiple years of data that show the correlation between certain biology and certain nutrients actually being plant available. And so we're going to really try to dial that in and make the ground work for us this year.
And I know I should make our audience wait until the end of the season to hear how well the deep injection did, but it's been a pretty hot topic everywhere you go, and I would think I'd be remiss to not tell a few folks before planting about deep injection. Fill us in a little on that.
I mean, like 100% dry fertilizer broadcast over the top was almost 70 bushels behind the deep injection on either side of the row. And really, I think what we're seeing is with these sensors and probes we're using, we're losing so much moisture in the top 4 inches when we go through these dry spells that the nutrients that are getting broadcasted are just not available because you don't have moisture. And so being able to put those nutrients, 4 or 6 inches deep where we're maintaining, more moisture, and the plants are able to access those nutrients, it's really helping with crop stress, and even putting those biologicals out ahead of planting and giving them, another 2, 3, 4 weeks to go ahead and start solubilizing nutrients and getting them available for that corn seedling. That showed pretty big.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a game changer, actually. Been a pretty hot topic, too. I've had a few people asking me about it, too. So,
I think Corey said he's backstage.
is he?
Yeah, I think I got a message on here that said he's backstage.
Oh, did he come in and go out? I don't see him. I got Brandon back here helping TD. And Brandon, did you see him? I didn't see him anywhere. Interesting. Maybe if he, we can get him in if he tries again.
So, hey, Russell, I got a question about this this deep placement of fertilizer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know if he had me turned off or not. So you're placing it, what'd you say, 4 to 6 inches deep?
On beans, we're typically running 4 to 6 just because it's got lesser of a root system. On corn, we'll go as deep as it'll allow us, which has been running anywhere from about 6 to 10.
So, are you doing this pre-plant in season? What are you doing? When are you doing this?
I like doing it pre-plant. Essentially, we'll run the bar pre-plant and then be able to come back and plant after we've ran that. Now, You can do it in season, but it's harder to keep it close enough to the row. Like I've got to widen out my coulters off of the row on either side because, I mean, we've got good guidance, but it's not as good as it
You're
needs to
getting
be for me
you're
to run
getting
it
some
that close.
root pruning then early on.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
But I mean, I mean, if you Perry, if you want to try something cheap, you can do like we did for 2 years. I got some Yitter fertilizer cultures off Facebook Marketplace for like $100 a row, and put it on an old 3-point bar and some SureFlow $100 pumps from
Yeah.
Northern Tool, and that's what we ran for 2 seasons. And the only reason I upgraded is all the rocks that we have, these 2996s, have those parallel arms. So if I hit a rock, it only lifts that one individual row and not my whole bar.
Yeah.
But
I've probably got the coulters. I've done everything over the years, so I've got them somewhere. And I mean, I could do it. I just, again, it's always seemed like a timing issue. Raising
yeah,
4 or 5 crops, it's just doing what we can do.
well, listen, I always
But
look at
but
it
I,
this
I
way.
am I am concerned about my potash. Even though my potash levels are good, uh, sometimes in the real high yields, I think I'm losing some yield because it just runs out.
Well, try some of the citric acid or some of that Calfa. I mean, we're seeing that stuff break potassium off of the soil particles and free it up
Yeah,
where it's available.
yeah,
And I mean, you're talking $1.50 to $3.50 an acre. I mean, it's fairly economical.
yeah. I'll take a look at it. Sure
Okay.
will. We're mainly using a lot of poultry manure, and I was thinking about pulling that down back a half a ton or maybe a full ton and replacing it with uh, commercial potash. So I know what I'm getting. That's the problem with the manure. You don't really know what you're getting. I typically discount it 25% from analysis, and I've been doing it long enough. I should be getting the equivalent of 100% of my application, but who knows? Seth, you find Corey? Is it just us, Russell? Hello. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Is
Oh,
anybody hauling corn today? I was curious. We haven't found Corey yet. He hasn't been in here yet. I haven't seen him.
okay. Yeah, we're hauling corn a little bit.
Everybody's hauling corn, right? Is that pretty much the consensus?
Yeah.
Ethan, what are the lines like down there, over there in Ohio?
Actually, it hadn't been too bad today. I mean, we were in and out. We're going to go to a different place tomorrow. So that might be a little different than what it was today. I guess time will tell. But
Time will tell. Yeah, we had people in our one of our TikTok. We had people in our TikTok earlier today that were sitting in like 6-hour lines, 4-hour lines, crazy lines.
Hey, Seth,
Yes.
Corey said he has a 2-week-old link and he's been backstage on a link that's bad. Can you resend him the link?
Yes.
He was like, dude, I'm backstage and there's nobody in this.
That's so weird. No. Yeah, give me a minute. Yo, what are the prices? That's what I wanted to know. What are we getting at the ethanol and at the mill? What are we getting?
We're $6 a bushel down here right now
Stop it.
for corn. Yeah,
$6?
yeah.
Holy hand grenades.
There's Corey.
Corey, what's up?
Did we get him?
Yeah.
Oh, we got him. Let's go. Atlee in the building.
Am I in?
He's in.
You made it.
Next level. Yeah, we're discussing hauling corn. Everybody's been hauling corn today, Corey.
Yeah, today was our first day back to hauling corn. We've been in the negatives, so we had a low of -15 and a high of 0. So we took all the trucks off the road. but yeah, we're back to hauling corn today.
Nice.
Corey, are you guys going to Dayton?
Yeah. Yep.
What's it been like down there? We're going tomorrow.
Not bad. Today sucked because they had some problems
Yeah.
with the computer side of things, with the grading side. So it slowed everybody down. But it's been pretty good so far.
Alrighty.
It sounds like we need to haul it to Arkansas. Was that where the $6 was, Perry?
No, I didn't answer that question.
Oh, who
That
was
was Russell.
Oh,
North
Russell.
Carolina.
$6.
$6 corn.
They don't have any corn there.
We're $1.50 over going into Little Rock. We've got hauling.
Okay.
Well, that's got to be close to 6 right now, ain't it?
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
that's over 6.
What's the market at? 470,
490.
490. There you go.
Yeah, it's wild right now.
If the buyer comes and gets it, now this is just a few loads a week, 5 loads a week. If the buyer comes and gets it, he just pays $1 over. So that's $5.90. So that's okay.
How's it going?
Now, if we sell large quantities, it's about 70 cents picked up over.
That's
So
pretty darn
I
good.
got a 50,000 bushel contract. I got to fill on the next 2 weeks. So that'll be at 70 over.
70 over.
Yeah. And they'll take that up to the Tyson plants up in Northwest Arkansas, and they're paying those trucks 60 to 70 cents for that to haul it. We'll have hired trucks for that.
Corey, you got any leftover corn?
No. Dang.
Right? Now's the time. Apparently.
And we really don't have any corn in Arkansas this year.
Was that just from the drought, or
It was wet during planting season, and price was bad, and everybody just didn't plant it.
it switched to a different crop then?
Switched it off of soybeans. Yeah.
Shoo.
Well, that's wild.
And I don't know what this year's going to bring.
I like it though. I mean, it's about time the prices start coming back a little, huh?
Yeah, it's makes it feel a little easier to sleep at night.
Yeah. It's about time. It only took a few days. Let's go. All right. So, Corey, what are you doing? You're hauling corn. Are you prepping for planting as well? Are you running any of those tillage rigs?
Yeah. Actually, we just finished up with the planters today. So,
Planters are ready.
just year-to-year maintenance, rebuild. They're ready to rock and roll. So bring on some drier, warmer weather, and we're ready to get this party started.
Let's go. Y'all had a great year last year, even though you had a bunch of wins. Tell us how did all the corn that was blown over, obviously it took a lot longer to pick it up, but how did it end up? How much off the top do you think all that cost you?
So we had one comparison. We was at one farm, and there's 385 acres in this one farm. We had everything done but the 120 acres, and that's when the hurricane came in. Same variety all throughout the field. And when we came back in, it was 40 bushel under everything we did just a couple days before.
Okay.
And it was flat. I mean, you could see as far as you wanted to see.
That's a hard number, 40. That's a pretty big number too.
Oh yeah, that's a big number there. And not only that, we was dealing with a drought the entire year. So the corn was already trying to cannibalize itself before the windstorm.
That's true.
It was trying to do whatever it could just to stay alive because of the drought. And some of our better hybrids, our big offensive home run hitters took the hurricane winds the worst
Right.
Because of the weight of the year, and they were already cannibalizing because they were done. They had no water.
Yeah.
Hey, can I put you on the spot, Corey?
Sure can.
Did you get any good advice on any seed corn or seed beans to try that you did in 2024?
Are you trying to toot your own horn?
No, I just wanted you to say it publicly so I could have it recorded.
All right, you ready?
It's only going to happen once.
Yeah.
No, so actually we tried, thanks to Russell, we tried 2 ag venture numbers, and ag venture has just never been a thing up here in Ohio. Just never, don't know much about them. That was more of a trust, thing. And we had a 107-day and 117-day, and the ag venture kicked butt. Did great in the 107-day, but all that was ran pre-hurricane, and we was all 300 plus on that. And then surprisingly, the 117-day was in a field with 4 other hybrids because it was in one of our bigger farms, and it was on our better dirt, and it was still standing. We was able to harvest it after the hurricane. I think it ended up averaging 290, 295 for a complete farm average. So we was tickled to death with it. And the beans, enlist beans, were south of town. Now, I guess backing up, so, we talk about wind damage and drought on corn, because it's easy to see the corn folded and only a foot tall. But the beans took a tremendous beating because they were so dry. They wanted to dry up in the pods, and they probably looked driving down the road like 20%, 23% moisture beans, and they were actually running at 10. I just never seen a year like this. And then, so by the time we got to them after the hurricane, the wind, and they swelled up from all the water. We got 6 inches south of town of rain, and they was literally swollen up and was, sprouting inside the pods.
That's insane.
We already had, so we're running beans in the combine and looking down in front of me at V1, V2 soybeans already. First time I ever seen that.
No, I know a lot of people have joked on, I know Ag Venture hasn't really been one of the big name brands, and I know that you plant a lot of varieties of corn. I just thought I joked around with everybody and told them, I said, yeah, I said a friendly competition with Corey ended up being him sending me a picture of a seed tag saying he was going to beat me with my own stuff. And I mean, honestly, man, it made me happy when you sent me them yield results and to know that it's working. It yielded very well up there, in my opinion.
They did. I was, and it's just not yield because I've had seed corn before where it's kind of like a one-hit wonder. You don't know how it did what it did, but it did. Agronomically, the structure of the corn I really liked. The stay green, the standability. There was a lot, and I'm not trying to do a pitch for them or anything right now. I'm just telling you the truth. There was a lot of things to like about it that tells me that it can do it year after year.
That 9916 is the king for me, at least.
Yeah, it did good.
Good job.
Well, maybe Russell, this year you'll get a fair shake, and you can, try to actually give them a run this year
I'll
with
be
your
honest
own
with you.
seed.
After having a competition with Corey, and maybe I was too prideful or something, thinking that we were going to do it, and God sent me a humbling hurricane. I don't know if I'm going to advertise we're going after the Kingslayer again.
That's funny.
You know what? We got it too. I mean, not as bad as what you guys on the East Coast got it. I just feel like a lot of us, Perry, I know Ethan, Russell, you got it really bad. Dan, I know he's not on here. He was cold and wet early. It's just, that's part of farming, man. I mean, it's one thing to put up numbers, but it's one thing, can you do it year after year, and no matter what Mother Nature throws at you?
Well, I just want you to know I was here in Kansas. I spoke for 8.5 hours today, and you better have your phone on you is all I can tell you, because I was giving it out talking about guys were talking. They're like, man, we're so dry. We just need a product that'll keep a plant alive. I was like, here, call Corey, get some kelpine. And I showed them some pictures and videos. I was pretty impressed with it.
Did you get any data back from that trial?
I did on the field. I sent you the video where I had them 2 plants up on the back of my truck. It was 13 bushels.
13 bushel.
13 bushels. I did not get any data on those 2 bean fields because both of those got flooded and we never got to harvest them. But that cornfield, and like I said, that's for us, that's middle of the road ground. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But it was 13 bushels on our decent ground.
Good deal.
Yeah, I mean, for what, $4 or $5 an acre, 13 bushels. Anybody would take that.
Yeah. You're definitely making money there.
No, that kelpine's magic.
Heck, I just found out today. I finally got my website back, Seth.
Oh, good. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, we're good. So advancedshield.com's back on.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was going to affect your email address too. That's why I was worried maybe you weren't here. I didn't know if that had something to do with it.
No, I even emailed myself to make sure that it worked for my personal one. Yeah, but we're good. Everything's back now. Just a little technical difficulties on my end.
No, it happens. The web stuff's hard to keep up with. It's hard.
It is.
But
so Matt Huss was asking if any of us banned liquid phosphorus on soybeans.
Mm-hmm.
We do. I mean, we're doing 1137 either in a 2x2 or that deep injection. I haven't ever wide dropped any phosphorus, but we've wide dropped like 32 and KTS on beans before.
We do not. We don't actually use hardly any liquid and fertilizer unless if it's in our foliars. Yes. So a lot of what we use on our beans is heavy phosphorus for the foliars, but as far as banding or doing anything like that, no. But we do use a lot of MAP in front of beans. And what I mean by, I don't want people to get carried away with that, about 100 pounds of MAP we will put on in front of beans.
Ethan, what y'all doing? I don't never get to talk to Ethan. I feel like Ethan just doesn't feel like he's, out of his shell around us. What are y'all doing, Ethan?
I always like staying in the background, Russell. I let my wife talk and say the smart things. But no, we're not. No, same like Corey. No, I mean, it's all foliar stuff for us. I mean, no banding. Everything's broadcast for us at the moment, and kind of goes back to time and logistics, trying to get it all done.
Now Corey does the anhydrous deep. How deep is it you go with that anhydrous, Corey?
I go about 8 inches deep. So we don't want the corn to find it too soon. So we're kind of going to bury it pretty deep. And we don't want the salt. And there's other reasonings why, but we're planting right on top of that row. That's our poor man strip till on 20-inch rows. So I would say 75% of our total nitrogen is going to be provided through anhydrous ammonia.
How big of a shank are you having to run to get to that, Corey?
Just a mold knife. It's got a good footprint on it.
I was gonna say that ain't no factory mold knife.
No. Well, the big thing is how much horsepower you have to pull that, because 20-inch rows, that's 36 rows we're pulling. And we're pulling 4 tanks. So 2 doubles.
What do you do? Just take those. Those are Fendt track tractors you got, ain't it?
Yeah. Yep.
What do you do? Just put both of them in front of each other and tie them together and use both of them in tandem?
Hey man, when you actually have good equipment, you just need one and just turn it loose, buddy.
And see, there's the answer. I got to hook the John Deere up to the Ford 5030 to pull it out all the time. One day I might make it up to Atlee status.
We'll get you a 4-shank, buddy.
Well,
Hey, we need to make a T-shirt that says "Are you Atlee status?"
Oh God, don't start.
what I want to know is has Atlee experimented with deep injecting anything else besides anhydrous?
Deep injecting anything other than anhydrous.
We need to get Corey and Shelby and Ethan and Perry. We need to get them some of that vermicompost extract. It's easy, it's clean. You run I mean, literally, it's a gallon to the acre, and just see if they see the same stuff we did. It's $1 an acre. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah. I've thought about it to try different things to inject in with. I just haven't done it yet.
So what is this called? What is it?
So there's a company called Fed and Happy, and they make vermicompost, and essentially we make an extract out of it, so you get like all the beneficial biologicals, and
Right.
it's just in it looks like dark water. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
almost translucent, but we're running a gallon of that to the acre, and Seth got some of the footage on what we were seeing, and there was some guys here at this conference that have even been running that on cotton, and they're seeing some extra 200 pounds of lint on cotton, running $2 an acre of this stuff, just getting those biologicals out there right in with the seed, and it's seed safe.
Wow. And what's the placement in furrow?
Yeah, you can go in furrow. Some guys are even doing it foliar. I like it in furrow.
Just as a gallon and use it as kind of like a carrier.
Yep, but you're just getting all those beneficial microbes in it.
Yeah. So. Okay.
It's good stuff. Is Shelby around, Ethan? I thought I saw
No.
her earlier.
Here in Ohio, we have crazy weather, so it snowed. And she has a couple snowplow accounts, so she's out doing that right now.
Oh, nice. Right on.
I'm the breadwinner. Well, she's the breadwinner. I'm the honeydew tonight.
No worries. That's cool. I was just curious. So are we ready for planting? Are we ready for spring yet? Are we okay with waiting a little longer?
I need rest before we get into that.
I guess let's start with Perry and Russell on that. I mean, their temperatures are a little bit different than ours.
They get started first.
Well, let me see. It's January the 23rd. It's a little early to be worried about it, but when the middle of March comes, we'll be ready. And we do it. We are running equipment through the shop right now, just double checking. I use a lot of South Africans. They'll be in first week of March. So, and I still have some here now, so we'll be ready. But it needs to be at least February before I start losing sleep.
Russell, you might be the earliest one to start sometimes, I feel like. Before Perry even, maybe. Is that true?
I mean, Georgia will be ready to start. I think our insurance starts February 22nd is our insurance date. Right. I mean, there's years that the week after
what crops is that?
Corn.
Corn. What about soybeans?
Beans are 15 days after that.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I mean, I'll have neighbors they'll be rolling the week after Valentine's, getting corn in the ground. Rolling pretty hard.
What's everybody's water tables looking like?
Depleted.
We're full. We're mushy.
Better than yours, Corey.
Thanks, Seth.
Hate to bring it up, but
what about you, Perry?
Yeah, we're wet. So we're certainly not depleted.
So I guess me and Ethan are the only two that's dry.
I think Dan's still dry.
I didn't think there was a dry spot in the United States, so I guess so.
Oh, you should have been up here. I mean, and I'm not trying to complain because you literally just go 10 miles south of me and we're talking 15 bushel soybeans, 50 bushel corn
Really?
across the board. Dry. I mean, the driest I've seen it since 2012. It was
And they ain't calling for nothing spectacular for 2025 either. If you look at that Snodgrass report, that's got
no,
me
but
worried for y'all.
well, I will say this. So when I went deer hunting right there around Thanksgiving, and there was not a creek or anything that had water in it. And now we finally got water starting to fill some of the creeks. So we finally got tile running again. And that's been the first time since 10 months ago. We've had tile running. We got pretty good snowpack right now. So hopefully it don't all melt at once. But that's definitely going to help.
What's the earliest planted soybeans? Are you planting by 1st of April, Perry?
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. But the earliest planting ones, I guess Matt Miles did 2 years ago, February the 20th, somewhere in there, and they made it. Last year he did it about the same time. I think he lost most of them.
Yeah, I seen that. Frost
I
got
mean,
him pretty
our
hard.
frost date. Well, now keep in mind, I'm kind of north central Arkansas. Uh, is going to be what is it, April 10th or something? Nah, that may be a little late. I don't know what it is. Uh, so South Arkansas, they got to be third week of March.
Are
We
you?
in 20, gosh, what year was that? 2011, 2012. We still refer to it as Easter freeze. It it was corn was knee high, and it frosted and froze for about 3 days. That was up in April, maybe the middle of April, 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that. And the sun never came out for about a week. So what the frost didn't actually kill, because a lot of the growing point was still on the ground, but what didn't kill, the disease just set in and just took it out. Every day what stands were left just looked thinner and thinner and thinner. And then here we are, 1st of May, and you got 50% stands of corn, and there's no good way to kill it. It was a mess. So it can frost and bite us in the butt if we're not careful.
Corey, you got any beans going in 1st of April? You or Ethan? I mean, that's pretty early for y'all too, ain't it?
I want to be afraid because we normally stay cold. So what I've learned with early planted beans up here, as long as the temperature doesn't change, we have the big spikes, then beans will actually adapt to the temperature around them. It's like for you guys in Perry, like where you guys might be 60, 70 for a week, you go out and plant, then you have those few days and then you warm right back up. As long as I'm consistent, 40, 50 degrees, then I'm not too concerned. I've seen them make it, whether that be end of April, beginning of May, or end of March, beginning of April. We never know what kind of weather we're going to get around here. So I look more for a consistent temperature before I go out and throw beans in the ground. I think the only time we've ever put corn in the ground in March was 2012. And that was the year of the drought. And that was a silent combine. Didn't even make a noise.
No thunder that year.
No. Ethan?
We're going to try to push it a little bit this year, but not usually that early. We just don't ever dry out fast enough. I mean, that's our bet. I think our insurance date's the 24th of April, the first day. So, I mean, we've planted some the week before, but other than that, that's about it. But we want to try to push it this year. We've struggled with bean yields, and like Corey said, we just burn up this year. I mean, not even as bad probably as Corey did, but we just dried out. I mean, we had one rain in August, and I think that was a couple tenths, which didn't do much. But we also haven't ran any planters through the shop either, so I guess it's about time we get busy with that too.
Yeah, it was a weird year this year. It started out good. Planting was great. Was getting moisture up through V5. I mean, we was rolling. Things were looking good, and then Mother Nature decided to cut us off.
Well,
We just needed a couple more inches. Story
see,
of our lives.
that's what had me a little bit worried. Is like Cameron's up there in Indiana, and he's talking about they're not super dry, but they ain't got no profile moisture. Y'all probably ain't got much profile moisture. And what they're calling for, Southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, through Kentucky, and down into Missouri. If that stuff comes into fruition for this season, y'all are going into it already in a deficit, and that's going to hurt.
That's why we're hoping for a rough winter, whether it be rain, snow, whatever. We just need some type of moisture to replenish our soil profile. Now, I will say with our heavy clays, unlike you guys down there, we can hold water for a long extended period of time. So once we get it, we can keep it longer.
Yeah.
But we
Y'all-
usually come March, I mean, we're usually going to get some rains, or even early April. We have the last 5 years in a row. So
I just wish we could find you a well, Corey. Just one well.
Or pivot. I know. I tried.
I know.
I tried.
It would be
What
nice.
was the problem? Couldn't find water?
And we're all on limestone. I got 100. I dug 300 and some feet deep twice, two different areas, and only got 175 gallons.
You want me to bring my two
Really?
sticks up and we'll go well witching?
We geographed and everything, man.
You
We're
gotta
just
go-
on a bed of limestone.
You got to go through the limestone. I'm kidding.
Yep. We need to find an aquifer.
That's what you need.
That's
100%.
incredible. It's that
That'd be
thick.
Yeah.
So we drill down to limestone, then we stop, which is about 105 feet. And we get all. I'm not bragging. We get all the water you ever want.
Yeah, Perry's in a bad area, and he's still got like 7,000 gallons.
Yeah, and I mean it's that's the truth.
We talk about it in the segment I was just editing, and I decided to leave it out for relatability purposes.
But and that's fine. I mean, and I am blessed. I mean, we got a water table. When you said water table earlier, I'm like, well, what difference does it make? I got a 20-foot water table. Sometimes we get as shallow as 12-foot.
They are, for
And a
sure.
well is 100 feet deep. Sometimes they're 90, 95, 100. If we want 3,000 gallon a minute well, that's what we get. But too much water is bad too.
So just to build a house to get 30 gallons a minute in Ohio, at least here in Greene County, we're drilling about 90 to 100 feet deep.
Wow.
For a house well.
How do they get the water out? Like a jet pump or something?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then even then, like this year, there was a lot of houses that ran out of water.
Oh my goodness.
The wells were run dry.
So it fluctuates that much. The actual
Oh,
water
yeah.
table.
Yeah.
Shelby and I just had one drilled here at the house this summer because our pump burned up. We couldn't get it out, and it was 177, and that was, I think he said 200 gallon. But we had to, like, west here at the farm, which is the next house to the west, 0.3 of a mile. They're at 70 feet and got, I don't know, 30 gallon, I think.
Not enough for a pivot.
No. No.
Old Preston said, "I got 1,000-foot hole and a half a gallon."
And they make you pay for that hole too, don't they? Whether they hit water or not.
By the foot.
Yep. That was an expensive experiment.
Yeah.
For nothing. I tried, though.
If we drilled 10 of them and hook them together, I could get you some subsurface.
Yeah, we went, yeah. You know, I thought about that. Yeah, I was going to put a holding pond in and everything and tie them all together, and then said, man, my onboard grandson won't even be able to pay this back. That's not fair to do that to them.
I've seen those manifold type wells. They tie them all together to run a pivot out in West Texas. It's the energy it takes to just run all that is nothing to blink at.
Yeah.
Those engines, they had Detroit engines on them, and they're running wide open. I don't know how fast those things turn. Probably 2,500 RPMs, and just the noise deafening, and you could just, almost pee as much water as they were putting out. Bad deal.
So Seth, are you airing season 1?
Yes. Season 1 started airing today on RFD TV.
Or
Episode 1?
Yeah, season 1, episode 2. What did I say? Yeah. Started
No,
airing.
No,
backward.
season 2, episode 1.
Season 2, 1.
Yeah.
A long day. Yeah. What you said was today on RFD. We did a watch party the other day where we did 3 or 4 of them, and we got them on our website as well as our mobile app. So you can catch up to episode 6 if you got the mobile app on Apple. But yeah, we're gonna play now. If y'all are ready, we can do it now. We can come back after, but I was gonna play episode 1 for us here tonight as well.
Hey, yep, you guys going to be at Louisville?
I'll be there Thursday. I'll be there from Thursday through Saturday.
Okay.
Shelby and I is going to go down Wednesday and Thursday.
It's time for new.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll be out of the country, so I will
Hey,
not make it.
Real quick, before you play this, I just want to say, OH.
IO.
Hey, them boys did good beating old Notre Dame, didn't they? I was worried there when the first drive happened.
Don't got to worry about it. It's all year.
Go Buckeyes.
There we go.
Got you. Yeah, any final comments? This episode's got Corey in it, and it's got the Fight Farm. You guys had a bit of a time getting started this year at the Fight Farm. There was planting windows were about the tightest we've ever seen in any location, and y'all have so many acres there, so that was quite a ride. Give us a quick summary of how that ended up.
Ended up us finishing the second week of June planting beans. We had to convert, I don't remember how much it was, corn that we didn't get planted to beans, and then they got burned up. So it was a struggle this year.
Yeah, but at least you got to see the solar eclipse.
Yeah, that we did. Really good, actually.
That was a great view.
Yeah, it was.
It turned out pretty well on the show too. I was pretty happy.
Good.
And then Russell's in here, and we're talking soil health and all the tips and tricks for planting. Russell, any final words about plant 24 before we start the episode?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I've said it all. Listen, I laid it all out for Seth in the video.
It is in there. He's not wrong. It's all in there.
All thing I'll say is all the haters that have been in the comments, and they're like, there's no way you can make money with 8 products. And I'm like, we literally just told you we use 2 ounces of this and 4 ounces of that. And if people think that that's breaking the bank, just balancing some nutrition, I don't know what to tell them, man.
Well, because if people think if they're not being sold in a quart to an acre or gallon an acre, then it don't work.
Yeah.
They'd rather pay for water in a jug.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully maybe somebody gets something from it. Like I said, we literally laid out the whole program on some of them plots.
Yeah. No, it's a solid episode. All kinds of good intel. Y'all make sure you pick up your Top Crop merch on the Top Crop website or in the TikTok shop. We do have the Top Crop crop top, especially in the TikTok shop, so don't forget about that.
I need to get me a crop top.
Have you
I
told
know.
Ethan and Perry and Corey about our calendar, the top crop calendar?
I think Corey knows about it, but I don't think we told Ethan or Perry yet.
Are we doing like a sexy fireman?
Is that it?
I'm gonna be December. Corey, you were July, weren't you?
I better be.
Yeah, he's July.
I got the perfect Speedo for it, buddy.
I'm gonna be in a crop top crop. No, I said that backwards. And I'm gonna be dressed up as Santa Claus.
Oh God, perfect.
So y'all get ready for your Perry. What month do you want for your photo shoot for the calendar?
This is a lot to put on me right now.
Poor guy, sick in bed.
It's
You can't tell if we're.
It's like I'll be a Chippendale model. Is that it?
I want June.
It's June, claiming June. Let's go. June's covered. All right,
I think we should be able to make comments on each other's photos and put them in the calendar. Like I'm going to say, you should wax that.
Oh God, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, no yearbook effect. We're gonna stay away from the yearbook effect. but it should be fun. I'm kidding, y'all. We're just messing around. Doug Coe in the room. Shout out to Doug Coe. Let's go. All right, we're gonna play this episode 1. Y'all are welcome to hang with us. We've also got fam on the tickety talk bouncing around, handling chat. So if y'all want to move around, and then we'll come back here in about 20. I think it's about 20 minutes on this because I took the commercials out of this one. So no, this one's commercial free for you. So enjoy, friends.
It's time for new season top crop. The health of our soil is going to contribute to us making money.
I call it turning trash into cash.
I'm still looking for big wins.
I think it looks good.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Top Crop Season 2. We're back in Jackson Center, Ohio, and we're at Man Farms again this year. Just kind of waiting to plant here. It continues to rain. As soon as we get some dry conditions, we'll be ready to begin spraying burn down and get the planters rolling. But so far it's April 8th and Mother Nature has not cooperated. So just playing the waiting game, lots of shop work and preparations underway, but just mostly waiting around. Weren't too busy today and got the opportunity to watch the solar eclipse. We were right pretty much in the path of totality, so got a really cool experience to be so good of a spot to view that. It was awesome. I'm glad everybody took some time and watched it. Pretty cool to experience it and be in total darkness during the day. Path of totality lasts about 4 minutes. So we started viewing the eclipse about 1:54, and then totality was about 3:09. The weather's just kind of been a little bit crazy. We had some tornadoes close on March 14th, so some damage here in regards to hail. Luckily, tornado didn't hit here, but some pretty significant hail damage to all the buildings and to our houses. So I'm hoping that's not setting us up for a growing season with some crazy weather, but just some rain now, and predictions for middle of the season, July, August, say it's going to be pretty warm. So, obviously prediction, we'll see what happens. We're in a La Nina, which would mean hot. Yeah, tillage really starts in the fall for us for that following season. So everything had a chisel pass this fall that preps the ground really well for our corn crop that'll go in the ground for 2024. So, tillage will begin as soon as conditions are ready, and all the other processes that are going to happen as well, getting fertilizer spread, getting the planters rolling. So it just needs to not rain for a couple days, but unfortunately I think this rest of the week it's a chance about every day. So calendar we could be planning if ground conditions were fit, but we're just not there yet. So I think the plan for 2024 for us is just to get, as organized now as we can be, making sure chemical plans are up to par, making sure seeds going in at the right population, scripting some fields to give, take that variability into consideration, and just making sure we're doing a good job there. When it comes to summertime, making those post-pass applications, plan again for some drone applications on corn, seeing some really good results last season when it comes to fungicides and PGRs. So I want to continue researching that, and when it gets to July timeframe, we have a little bit of wheat, and that wheat is just out there, so we can get a chance to install some drainage tile. So that, as I said before, is a big focus for us. So looking forward to putting in good tile plans as well. And we just pray that Mother Nature cooperates. We can get going here soon, and that we can get those rains we need during the season.
In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. If we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
This is our king of the corn. This is the 9916 Ag Venture. Get one more and we'll be ready. So I kind of think it's BS. I think if you're going for something and you don't at least tell everybody, hey, we're going for something, it just doesn't count quite as much. So I'm gonna, you might as well Babe Ruth it, make your call. We've got one field this year. We're going to try to get irrigation set up this coming week, and we're going to go for 500 bushels irrigated. That's what we soil tested for, fertility. That's what we planted it. We've got another farm that we're going for 450 again, dry land. We've got the groceries out for it, and we've got one bean field. We're going to try for 150 again. I mean, last year, tornado kind of wrecked it there towards the tail end of the season, but if you're going to try for something, at least, tell some people about it. Show's going to come out. We're going to talk about our foliar passes, how we're doing our nutrient management, what we're looking for, levels, and that's the way I think you help other growers to learn and try to achieve those higher yields. Maybe somebody doesn't go for 150 on beans, but a lot of those techniques are useful even for 100 bushels. And so, stay tuned. You can see what's happening this season on the farm. The only part that I truly care about is like where you see the water start right there. If you come over 18 rows, that little dog leg right there, that's part of our contest plot. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We're going to get it planted. That will not be a zero like it was last year. It may be what I'm really hoping for is I'm really hoping for this field to average 140 bushels. I mean, the goal is 150. With some of the stress we've had, I don't really know if that's going to be achievable, but if we can get this replanted and hopefully come in that 120 to 140 range, that's still what we're shooting for on these beans, and that's what we're going to continue to do our tissue sampling. We've got the new program that rolled out, foliar scripts. We'll have that tomorrow, have our printouts where we can actually see, we're pulling a tissue sample on these crops. It's generating what we actually need to apply down to the ounce to make some corrections. And that's really one of the ways for us to economically keep these plants in balance. 32% nitrogen with the humic in it called Humic K. We're also running 1 quart of fulvic for every 15 gallons, 2 ounces of moly in furrow and 2 ounces in the 2x2. We've got 8 ounces of boron in the 2x2. So that'll be 4 ounces on either side of the row. On our in furrow, we're running 1.5 gallons of total phos, the vermicompost, extract. We've got organic. We've got 2 ounces of calcium, 2.0 from Redox in the 2x2. Once we get the tanks filled up, you really want to have a large volume of fluid recirculating, but then we're going to put in our mainstay SI, which is silica. We'll be ready to roll, throw a little seed in the planter. Welcome to season 2 of Top Crop. I'm Russell Hedrick. We're here in North Carolina. It's April 27th, and we're here at a field that we've deemed the King Slayer. Got a friendly competition going on with Corey Atlee, and this farm we've got a mix between corn and beans. This is our bean field we're standing in today. Beans are just starting to pop up out of the ground. We got them planted early in April. Had some cooler soil temperatures, but they're coming up pretty good. We're shooting for 150 bushels on this particular farm with our fertility and management program. We've also got a field on this farm where we're going for 500 bushels on our corn. So we'll just see how everything's kind of progressing. We're going to do some digging, see where the corn's coming up, where the beans are coming up, and try to go ahead and make our next pass. See, they're just barely below the surface. So I mean, another day or two, look at that. But I mean, if you look here, I mean, like we've got a little bit of dryness here in about the top 1/8 inch, but it is just, I mean, look right here. I don't know if you can zoom in. When we talk about healthy soils, what we want to look for, one, and this little guy doesn't want to be caught today, but I mean, we're running about 90 to 100 earthworms in the top cubic foot. If you convert that over, that's about 3.5 to 4 million earthworms per acre. But look at that aggregation. I'm not knocking on the conventional till guys, but you're not gonna see big old aggregates like these right here in a conventional till system. I mean, this ground is just full of tilth. You can see the beans are starting to push up through it. Let's see how deep our taproot goes. We've already got 1.5 inches of growth on that plant. It's still got about 1/2 inch to pop up out of the ground. We planted these beans at 2 inches deep, but you know, right here, we're just starting to break the surface. We'll have these up before the end of the month, and that's typically, we get beans up and out of the ground in the month of April. That's our best yielding beans. And if you're gonna be shooting for, you know, 80, 90, 100 plus bushels, that's really where you gotta be at. You know, you're not gonna be out here planting May beans, you know, typically seeing them go over 100. But we've essentially got this whole area planted here. We had a lot of flood damage on this farm. Last year it flooded twice, just freak storms. We had a really bad storm come through back in January. We had about 8 foot of water on top of this field. So we were kind of concerned about biologicals, you know, being anaerobic underwater. So we're trying different things. We're running the organics in the deep injection. We're running organics in furrow, trying some of those out, which one's working best, the in-soil algae, playing around, you know, with the vermicompost, either from Fed and Happy, where we're making our own extracts, or working with a company this year called Elm Dirt, where they make the extract before it comes to us. It's just a liquid. But, you know, if you look at that fertilizer bar that we were on yesterday, and so our fertilizer bar is running here and here on either side of the row, and then that planter's coming back and split in the middle. And so, you know, right there's 2 inches, there's 3 inches. Right here's our soybean seed. And we're exactly 3 inches off to the side. You know, when we were watching the monitor while we were planting on the GPS, you know, it was within 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch where our pass needed to be. And we're seeing the same thing where these beans are coming up, and we've got this coulter cut in the ground from the first pass. The planter's perfectly centering that up. So, you know, we've got those nutrients right here within this root zone. If we need to do anything else on these beans, we can come out because we're planting on 30s. We can wide drop it just like we do the corn, should we see a need to do that. But you know, if you're looking to maximize nutrients and efficiency, we're only probably using anywhere from about 10 to 15% of an acre on a 30-inch row. So that means if you're broadcasting dry fertilizer, 85% of that is not within the realm of where that plant's root system is. Now you'll see some lateral roots go out into the row middles, but it's not a lot. But by placing these nutrients, we're increasing the efficiency of that fertilizer 3 to 5-fold at a minimum. And then going deeper, because our corn and beans, the roots don't grow perfectly horizontal, they grow at an angle. And so we've got to get that deeper placement, so when those roots continue to grow out and grow down, they're able to hit this band probably within the first month and a half. And when they hit this, I mean, it's a night and day difference in what we're seeing on our tissue samples throughout the whole season. So, you know, just simple stuff like this, whether it's dry, you know, we've got a dry bar that we're building for this fall where we can cut our cost per nutrient by half. So we'll be running some dry in the fall, some liquid in the spring, and that'll save us even more money. So, you know, just ways to maximize the fertilizer that we are using. Let me check out some corn. Over here on a cornfield, we're seeing the same thing. Our coulter ran right here and right here. And so right here's our row middle where we're seeing these corn seedlings come up. And the ground's still a little bit cool. We're running the Precision Smart Firmer, and our ground temps have been running 60, 62 degrees. I mean, it's not really warmed up yet. There's our corn seed right there. So like on this one right here, that's right at 3 1/4 inches deep. And that corn seedling's just starting to put his first radical out. Got some roots coming here off the bottom. I mean, just that little tiny root is going to help push that plant up. But I mean, essentially right here is where our seed's at. And if you look right here, once again, same thing. There's 3 inches. There's 3 inches. So we're still perfectly hitting that row spacing even on the corn side. But you know, once again, looking at the aggregation, the tilth of the soil, it's pretty nice. Got a lot of earthworms in it. So when we first got this farm in 2012, it hadn't been under heavy tillage management. And I think a lot of people don't understand, you know, if you're doing full width tillage, you're really disturbing a lot of the biology, and you're also killing a lot of that worm population. And that's why we no-till. If we had all of our ground that was fit to do strip till, I would probably be a strip till farmer. I see a lot of the benefits to strip tilling, especially in some of our clays. Even if it's on a 2 or 3 year rotation where, say, we strip till in the fall ahead of corn and get a cover crop established, you're changing the bulk density in that strip. You'll see cover crop roots. Some of the farmers I've worked with down east in the state, they'll rip in the fall, plant those cover crops, and you'll see, you know, 40, 50% more roots in that strip till area, which helps hold that that compaction from going back in. Where we've been doing cover crops 12 years now, compost, manures, making, you know, the rotation that we've got, increasing the organic matter. I mean, this ground is just so tilthy. The earthworms are here. They've got plenty of food, and we're very little disturbance. Even looking at nutrient management, if we're coming out here and we're putting on more than 80 pounds of nitrogen in one shot, we're actually seeing enough of a salt load that can be a detriment to some of the soil biology, some of the earthworms, and that's why, you know, like this winter when we traveled and we talked at conferences about even anhydrous. I don't think anhydrous is a bad form of nitrogen. I think the problem with anhydrous is most farmers go out with 150 to 200 pounds of nitrogen at one shot. Well, there's a lot that goes on there. So soil biology has a carbon and nitrogen ratio of about 14 or 15 to 1. So that means when you're putting out that 150 pounds of nitrogen in one shot, those microbes are going to consume some of that nitrogen, and then they're going to consume carbon. They're going to balance themselves. It's nature. It's a self-balancing system. Well, then we're burning up our carbon at a time of the year where we don't want to, typically if you're doing it in the fall. Another part of it is looking at earthworms. You know, you put that much nitrogen out there, you're going to salt out some of those earthworms. Then you start looking at, when you're burning up carbon, the aggregation that you see in the soil is built with glomalin, which is produced by the biology, they'll actually start consuming that carbon back, which then takes out the tilth of our ground. It limits our root development, it limits our nutrient uptake for the coming season, and it also limits our water infiltration. And so if you're burning up carbon and you're limiting all those factors just to, save another 10 cents a unit on nitrogen, I think if farmers, I've worked with a few this winter in Illinois and Iowa, where instead of putting out 175 pounds of anhydrous, they're only going to put out 75 pounds. And then they're going to come back with their program and do a liquid 32% and why drop that in? And they're going to do a half of a field with each, their old practices and using the new anhydrous rate and the 32%, and see which one has better water infiltration, which one has higher earthworm counts, which one's seeing even better yield, and then ultimately what's the return on investment. And that's really the only way to do it. I mean, this farm here, every year we have about 4 or 5 different trials on this farm, just like, we're going to go to Hickory Lincolnton and plant over there. We've got 6 or 7 over there this year. And you've got to do it on your farm. I mean, you can take ideas from us, Dan, Corey, Shelby, Ethan, and put it on your operation, but ultimately you've got to split some fields up and try something different if you're going to try to make more money in farming. And that's the only way to do it. The only part that I truly care about is like where you see the water start right there. If you come over 18 rows, that little dog leg right there, that's part of our contest plot. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We're going to get it planted. That will not be a 0 like it was last year. It may be what I'm really hoping for is I'm really hoping for this field to average 140 bushels. I mean, the goal is 150. With some of the stress we've had, I don't really know if that's going to be achievable, but if we can get this replanted and hopefully come in that 120 to 140 range, that's still what we're shooting for on these beans, and that's what we're going to continue to do our tissue sampling. We've got the new program that rolled out, foliar scripts. We'll have that tomorrow, have our printouts where we can actually see, we're pulling a tissue sample on these crops. It's generating what we actually need to apply down to the ounce to make some corrections. And that's really one of the ways for us to economically keep these plants in balance.
Welcome back in, friends. Welcome back in. That's episode 1 of Top Crop, season 2, our season premiere. Very excited to bring that to y'all this evening. Thanks for joining us for the watch party. Quite an incredible show. Russell Hedrick just opening up the whole plan. Tell us, Russell, why is it that you're so willing to share so many of the details that we don't see maybe in some other places?
I don't know. Maybe being first generation, I'm naive. I've never looked at another farmer as competition. I know we compete for ground and we compete for, showing that we're good at our profession. But at the end of the day, the reason that I got here to where I'm at is people like David Brandt and Ray Stiers, Nathan Lauder. I could sit here and Lauren Steinloggy, Jimmy Emmons. I could probably name 50 guys that didn't know me from Adam, that if I had a question, those guys answered the phone and gave me information. And then, we were able to take that and put it into our operation. And that really made the difference of us being successful or not. And I just want to see farmers make money, man. It's 20 hours a day, sometimes 24 hours a day, and it's too hard not to make money at this profession. And I think that's one of the reasons I like being on the show is, we're out here trying to help farmers not only be more sustainable, but also, actually increase ROI and make money in this.
And in case anybody missed it, you shared a couple things in that episode, a couple quick tips, not silver bullets necessarily, but in case they missed it, give us the Cliff Notes.
I mean, the biggest thing is I can tell you the data off of my farm, and I know Corey does it, Dan, Perry, even Ethan and Shelby. And, you can take the idea of what we're doing, but you may have to, modify it 10%. But you can really pick up on like planting tips. Um, we can plant beans in the colder soils than we can corn, and really when we talk about nutrition, um, I think a lot of farmers, like we were talking about earlier, they think that you have to have a huge amount. One of the biggest things that we learned with this foliar script AI program, if you tissue test your plant and say it's deficient in manganese, well, if you've got a soil test that shows that you've got plenty of manganese, sometimes we can trick that plant and spray it with like 4 ounces of manganese, which costs like 50 cents. And it just triggers that plant to start uptaking more manganese out of the soil. So it's not that you have to completely supply everything in these foliar passes. And that's why we can use such low rates and get that plant to start cycling back out of the soil and get what it needs. And that's how we're able to really get these plants up and growing healthy.
Yeah, so it's really a full picture approach instead of one specific thing. There's a whole management plan and process that you implement at the beginning of the season, and then you follow throughout the rest of the season. Um, is there something that you would recommend for people getting ready for planting this year?
I mean, I would say,
Soil test.
soil test would be one. We do have a new AI program coming out called Soil Scripts. You're going to be able to stack, layers, whether you're doing like a 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, you can stack that. We can then be able to use that data. The metagenomics has been really cool for us to be able to test biological products in the lab before, some of these products, farmers are spending 10, 15, 20 grand. And for 250 bucks, we can test it with our soil, our seed in a laboratory and have a scientific statistical data on whether that biological product's actually going to give us an ROI. And so, yeah, we're out here trying these products, but we're also testing them in the lab and then comparing how it works on the farm versus in the lab, and they're correlating very, very close. And so just ways for farmers to not only find out about new things to try, but also how to test them to make sure they're going to work is one of the big deals. And yeah, I mean, with soil scripts, being able to put in, what you're planting and, give you hard targets on when we should be doing tissues. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling hopeful like the next 5 years that we're really going to dial in fertility management on a lot of farms, not just ours, but others that we're working with and really be able to push that boundary.
Absolutely. And then and we actually get to take a trip to the lab with you in one of the episodes. I was trying to make sure I knew which one it was.
Maybe episode three,
I
I
think
think.
it's 3, yeah. Special guest. Awesome.
I'm really hoping. I know. I've got to talk to
No, it's 5. I lied.
Shelby and Ethan a few times, but maybe this year on their beans, I'll send them some of the stuff we're doing with PGRs, and maybe that'll be able to help them out and see how they like some of that.
Yeah, that stuff is pretty interesting. Actually, it seems to be the node spacing on corn and beans is pretty. Seems to be a pretty important thing for staying efficient. So what's next for you? Are you on the road now? Or are you at home? Are you in?
I've been in Kansas for a conference. I go home. I'll be back in Kansas, then Missouri. I'm going to be up in Illinois, not too far from Dan's, and we got a lot of meetings with a bunch of farmers, pretty much another 10, 12 states, and then finally be home for planting. But it might even be up in Indiana and Ohio. I haven't heard back from them, but maybe early March be up towards Man Farms and go up there and see Ethan and Shelby and them, drop in, say hey, maybe grab a lunch or something.
That'd be awesome.
I know everybody kind of thinks it's fun. We only run a 6-row planter, but the roads and the people at us just keep it down. So maybe this planting season, if I get done before everybody, I'm just going to go get in like Ethan's big tractor and be able to be in the operator seat on something bigger than a 6-row.
We're
Yeah,
we're
we
at
gotta get you out to some of the farms. That'd be cool to have you out during a film day too, at Corey's or Ethan's, or even down in Arkansas. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch. I was in Arkansas back in November, and it just didn't work out with the flights we had. I was going to try to catch up with Perry, but it didn't work out.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, I appreciate y'all for being a part of this series. Like, seriously, this is an incredible project to be a part of, and I'm so honored to be able to make it with you guys and learn a little bit along the way, and hopefully help some farmers gain some profitability, increase their sustainability through diversity and increased education. It's just quite an honor to be able to bring this show to you guys. And don't forget to follow us on all of the social medias. Pick us up on. We have a link tree where you can find every platform that we're in, as well as pick up all of our talent on the shows. They're on all the different platforms. I need to update their social profiles on our website. We do have some of them, I think, linked on our Top Crop TV website in case you want to get plugged in with them as well. Make sure you follow them and keep coming back for all the good content. Ethan, did it stop snowing over there?
I think it did. Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot, just enough to make things slick. So Shelby was going to sling some salt.
Yeah, nice.
Ethan, do y'all have anything new that you're going to have in the playbook for 2025?
We've got a few things boiling this year. We're adding a second bean planter to try to help get beans in the ground a little faster, and we're looking in putting in some inoculant on some beans. That I don't know if you've heard of that Grow Pack from Ag Explorer.
Grow Pack AI.
Yeah, we're looking at doing some of that this year, and we'll probably do a little PGR stuff. We're probably going to use some more AgX stuff on PGRs for beans, and we're probably going to do some more. Shelby and I did some testing on mine and Shelby stuff last year, but it was a wash. The year before, we saw huge results. So we're going to do a little more this year, and probably do a little more fungicide on corn this year too.
Man, I need to get you a jug or two of that Cytoplex that we're using.
Okay.
It is a game changer on stacking bean nodes, and like if you're doing a foliar pass, that nickel sulfate that we're using, it's like 10 cents an acre. It's absolutely nothing. But like I'll text you some pictures, man. But like we had beans this year. Seth got to see them whenever they were post flood, but we were seeing 9, 10, 12 pods per node.
Sheesh.
Everybody was, I said on that video when he was down there shooting, I was like, man, these beans were 110, 120 bushels. And everybody's like, man, you only had five, stems coming up, blah, blah, blah. And then I sent some pictures where there's like 10 and 12 pods per nodes. And they were like, okay, maybe you were right on that estimate. But yeah, that Cytoplex, man, we've been running like 2 ounces in furrow and 4 ounces over the top, and it is just loading them things up.
Okay. Well,
And I know, and I've heard Shelby complain a few times on the show about your beans staying kind of down and not really giving that full expression. I think that might help you a little bit.
Well, that, and we've kicked around some too about doing some in-furrow stuff, because I've got this new planter that I got. Well, that's shot at some. I've got some in-furrow capability. We just weren't for sure what to use and how much to use. We're kind of kicking the bush still.
Well, I'll give you a holler and see if you want to try some.
Yeah, definitely. Let Shelby know. She, like I said, she handles all that stuff more than what I do. I just put it in the planter and go like hell.
Well, Seth, it's a pretty good little watch party, buddy. We're gonna try to do these every now and then.
This was awesome. I lost video here for some reason at the end. I don't know if my device is overheating, but I was using my phone to connect, but I seem to have lost video at the moment. But I really appreciate y'all, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, for being a part of this, for making it an amazing series where folks can learn and grow and have a good time. So it was a good show.
Well, thanks for putting it all together and having us too.
For sure.
No worries. It's my pleasure. We're going to do it again next week, friends. Sorry, my camera's down, but we're going to do it again next week, same time, episode 2. Stay tuned. We'll do it at 8 o'clock next week as well. So y'all keep coming back. It works if you work it, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
All right. See ya.
See ya.